Number 1, how much should you buy in? Around 10 to 20% of your bankroll. For example, if you have $1,000 in your bankroll, would you put in all 100%? No, because if you put in 10%, like just $100, that means you have 10 opportunities to strike it rich rather than throwing everything on one coin. I know it's very tempting to throw the whole 100% of your bankroll behind a coin, but I've seen plenty of people who ride the dragon right to the top and then crash down hard when one coin goes its wrong way. We just need to look at other people like Frank and Static who don't put in 100%. They just put in $500 to $5,000 and then clip as it goes up. Trading on FOMO is all about consistency and staying alive. You still want to be in the market, so don't throw it all on one gamble. Number 2, how to keep more profit. Use my code NICKCASH for 10% off all fees on the platform so you get to keep more money in your pocket. Number 3, when should you sell? You want to take initials right away, so when you get up to around 50%, start to clip some money out of the market. Definitely at 100%, you should be taking 50%. What this means is that now you're going to get back your initial investment and you're going to be coasting on profit. Ideally, the coin will then go to 200%, 300%, 400%, and you'll be clipping at each of those milestones, getting back the cash. But I still think that if you're feeling a little bit nervous, you can still clip as much as possible as long as it's in the positive. If you have a bad trade and you don't like it appearing on your profit and loss statement on your account, what you need to do is not exit the coin. So what you do is that you sell the whole dollars, but you keep the cents. And that way the trade isn't closed, so it doesn't appear on your FOMO account down the bottom. So that's how you get those accounts that have complete green profit and loss statements. They're actually never exiting the dust. Speaking of dust, how do you sell a coin that's under $1? Well, actually, you can transfer the coin to your Phantom wallet and then you can sell there for minimal disruption. So if you truly want to get rid of a coin and make it disappear without a profit or loss statement, you can always transfer coins to your Phantom accounts. Now that's a longer, more complicated tutorial, which I'll show in another video. So make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss it. How do you find coins before they get huge? I've already got a tutorial on the channel all about this, but I'll tell you right now very quickly. You want to go to the trending tab and find a coin that's under around 2 to 3 million market cap. Then on that coin, you want to find a trader that's got a 1000% profit and loss. So somebody who's made a ton of money. Then you want to click on that trader and see what else they're in, because that trader knows how to find coins before they hit the primary market. But again, it's a little bit more complicated, so jump onto the rest of the channel and watch that longer tutorial because it will make you $1 million. And this actually leads into the next point. The word of warning is that you don't want to follow traders that are on the leaderboard, and I'll explain why. How do you avoid getting clipped by big traders? Now, a lot of people do follow the big traders like Frank and Remus that are on the leaderboard. However, a lot of people run bots with that. And so what happens is that when they buy something, they might put $5,000 into a coin, and then instantly a whole bunch of copy traders will follow them. Then what happens is that they will instantly clip that and take the exact amount of money that the copy traders just put into the platform. And because this is robotically controlled, a lot of the time the traders don't even realize this is happening. And for example, some people like Remus have actually farmed their own followers to get as much money as possible. So that's why I always caution that you don't want to immediately follow in anybody to a coin who's a big player. Ideally, you want to get in before they buy. But if that's not possible, don't buy straight away because they might clip within the next 10 minutes. Speaking of following people, should you join a Discord to trade on FOMO? Now, I'm going to go against the grain here because a bunch of people who do watch this channel do run their own Discords, and I think it's a fantastic resource. But I think if you're a newbie and you're kind of getting back into the FOMO cryptocurrency space, you don't actually need to sign up to a Discord. Unlike back in the NFT era where it was all about alpha channels and immediate access to the coin, in this day and age, you don't actually need to have that for FOMO. Now, the caveat is that if you're trading on PumpFun, before the coins get graduate. So if a coin's below around 30 to 45,000 market cap, yes, joining a Discord will get you into those volatile coins much earlier and you will be able to make some money there. But if you're not trading on PumpFun and you're only using FOMO, then I don't recommend joining a Discord because the trades take a long time to play out. you're not actually going to realize any profit that you would get from joining a Discord. Plus, any of the big traders are trading publicly. They talk about their plays on Twitter and on the FOMO account, so you can see it anyway. You don't actually need to have a hyper-exclusive Discord to find out what exactly Remus or Static is trading. For example, we can just look at Static. He bought into a coin called Chud at the beginning of this video, and we can see that it's moving at the moment. So for example, I didn't need a Discord to know about that, I just had to use my eyes. Speaking of selling, should you sell completely out of a coin? Once you've taken your initials, you should leave a remainder in the coin no matter what as a moon bag. Now, a moon bag is a bag that you've secured if the coin goes to the moon. So if it somehow goes from 100K to a $1 billion coin, you're talking some serious cash, even having $1. If you left $1 in your moon bag at 100,000 market cap and it goes to a billion market cap, that's $10,000 that you've just made on $1. So it's always a good idea to leave it in the bag. After all, Neil Armstrong did say having a bag will make you feel like you're on the moon. I think that's right. Next question. When should you take money out of FOMO? You should off-ramp your big wins. You shouldn't keep them in the FOMO app. Because we live in this world of piracy and nefarious actors, there's always a chance that your app will be hacked, your wallet stolen, or perhaps a government will do some sort of shutdown. So when you have a big win, it might be tempting to leave it right there so you're high up on the leaderboard, but it's best to off-ramp your wins to a separate wallet that you control. For example, there is one person that we follow who actually off-ramps every single night. That's right, they take their wallet into the factory, make some money, and then they go home again, not leaving a single cent in FOMO overnight. Now we're going to get into the more speculative questions, so bear with me because this is open to interpretation and it's not financial advice. But let's dive in. How do I know when to sell? This question is answered in two parts, so pay attention. Within a day and a few days. For example, you discover a coin and it's after the peak with a lot of big characters in it. Now, naturally you would think, oh, everybody's in this coin, maybe I should buy in. But actually, if it's on the way down, collectively the momentum is that this coin is no longer going up. You have to keep watching and monitoring it to see when it will either bottom out or if the coin's going to continue to fall. Coins don't immediately bounce back up again, and a lot of people make the mistake of jumping into a sinking ship. But I hear you say, everybody's in the coin, surely they know something. Well, if it's after an hour, it's very possible that they're all asleep, or the traders are not actively looking at this coin, or it's been a rug and they haven't noticed yet. It's only been an hour. However, all of this changes if it's been a few days. This is the second part of this question. So this all changes if it's been a few days. If the major players are still in a coin and it's been a few days and it's still going down a little bit, then that means that they know more than what perhaps you may know. This means that they've woken up, seen the profit and loss statements, and said, hey, we're actually okay to stay in this coin. We're not going to sell out because we know it's going somewhere. Now the coin has more inherent value than perhaps a quick pump sort of meme coin. Maybe there's actual application and you should do your research and it's worth actually investing. You want to make big gains though, so what about should you trade on Graduate? As you know in the app, when you click trending and you go over, there's the graduation tab and you can scroll through a whole bunch of coins there that are new to the market and obviously have the most potential to go high. However, most of these coins are going to fail. I mean, like 99.9% of these coins are going to fail. This is extra appealing because maybe you see somebody in the coin, like you might see Static has jumped onto a coin who is known to try and find early coins. So is this a green flag and you should jump straight in? Not quite. The problem is not only is it a much higher risk, but the fees will also chop you. Because the platform will charge a certain percentage fee, at these lower prices, you're not going to necessarily be making a lot of money. It would be better for you to go to PumpFun and try and trade there for these lower amounts and treat FOMO as a longer term, multiple days holding platform for more than just speculation, for things that actually have application. For example, on PumpFun, the fees will be minimum 30 cents, but on FOMO, they'll be minimum $1. Now, this is not necessarily too bad if you're throwing in $5,000, but do you really want to be putting $5,000 into a coin that's $35,000 market cap? You're buying 1/7 of the coin off the marketplace, and that's going to make the coin incredibly volatile and make people a bit worried because you've just bought such a significant share. People are going to think you're just about to rug them. And if you guys want to see a PumpFun tutorial, let me know as a comment down below and I'll get that done next. When should you quit a coin? Now, this is a very speculative question, but it's definitely one that's going to be on your mind. You've put some money into a coin and whether or not it's gone up or down, you're now wondering, hey, should I leave? Well, look, this is not a charting tutorial and I'm going to be very basic here, but imagine that the chart is like an arc, like a rainbow. And if it's on the way down, you collectively have a momentum of people selling rather than a momentum of people buying. And on FOMO, if you scroll down to the bottom of a coin, you can actually see where people are buying and selling and see what the volume is. And if the volume is mostly people selling, then there is a momentum of people exiting the coin. Naturally, the best practice is that you've already clipped your initials on the way up and taken a substantial profit if you were on the beginning of that arc going up. So now when things are starting to come back down, you should be starting to withdraw from the coin, but leaving a token amount just in case it moons again. After all, you can always jump back into the coin and your portfolio will warn you if it's going up again or if other people have jumped in, because you'll have it straight on your dashboard. Just keep in mind, why would you bet against the market when the market is going down? Think about humans as sheep. They're going to follow one another. And honestly, this game is already relatively complicated. Don't try and fight humanity. And also check this out. Whilst I've been recording this video, Static is up $50,000 on this coin, which just goes to show that maybe I'm wasting my time here doing these little tutorials. Maybe you've enjoyed them. And if you have, maybe subscribe or use my code NICCASH for 10% off your fees on FOMO. So, if you feel like I've given you any value, but I think I should spend more time trading and less time talking because the sheer amount of gains is ridiculous. And hey, don't forget to follow me on the FOMO app itself, NICCASH, and I'll see you in the next video.